Part 8. Miscellaneous. Question 1. Why is Gayatri Mantra regarded as Guru Mantra? Answer. Everybody knows that one can learn very well under the direct guidance of a capable teacher. This, however, does not mean that a person devoid of knowledge and character be accepted as Guru. Instead of accepting an illiterate person as teacher and suffer the consequences, it is better to regard the scriptures or any rishi or devatma as one's guru, and for this purpose even a picture or an idol of the person concerned can be used. All human beings are born through the same biological process as other animals. Man is, therefore, in no way different from other species of animal kingdom, until he takes the first step towards his spiritual evolution by way of initiation in sadhana. This ceremony of initiation amongst the Hindus is known as the Upnayan Sanskar. The newly initiated person is called a Dvij, that is born again, in spiritual parlance. Each Hindu is traditionally required to undergo Upnayan Sanskar. In course of this ritual, the subject is made to wear a Janeyu, sacred thread, across the body on the left shoulder as a constant reminder to follow the disciplines of Gayatri in life. The Christians wear the crucifix for a similar purpose. During the Upnayan ceremony, the Guru initiates the person concerned exclusively in Gayatri Mantra. This is why it is known as the Guru Mantra. Literally too, the word Guru in Sanskrit means heavy, powerful, or significant. Since this mantra has been referred to in the scriptures as the very manifestation of omnipotence and omniscience of God, it is justifiably called as Guru Mantra. Question 2. Is Diksha necessary for sadhana? Answer. Aspiration for salvation is the birthright of all human beings. Scriptures say that in the biological kingdom created by God, three phenomena are extremely rare. 1. To be born as a human amongst the innumerable species of living beings. 2. A strong aspiration for salvation from bondage. And 3. The patronage of a spiritual preceptor and guardian, Guru. Coming in contact with a true Guru and a desire to be initiated are the greatest blessings of life. The credibility of Guru is, however, the most significant aspect of Diksha. According to scriptures, the Guru must have 4 basic qualifications. He must be 1. Shrotriya, that is not only well versed in scriptures but also the one who knows their subtle secrets and has realized their true import in his life. 2. Vrijino, with a spotless reputation, sinless. 3. Akamahata, that is, he should have no other motive except that of purely doing good to others. He should be an ocean of compassion, without any ulterior motive of name, fame, or any material gain. 4. Brahma Victim, the one who has himself realized God. The Guru is not only a teacher. He transmits spirituality by personal example. Thus, a grave risk is involved if one falls in the clutches of a fake Guru. If, because of ignorance, someone has taken a Diksha earlier from an unqualified person, prudence demands seeking a true Guru for spiritual growth. Such Gurus are, of course, rare nowadays. Question 3. What are the rules to be followed after taking Diksha? Answer. After initiation, the devotee is expected to maintain regularity in daily routine of worship, upasana, a persistent endeavor for developing purity in thoughts, words and deeds by studying scriptures and interacting with saintly persons, sadhana, and by donating a part of one's time and resources for welfare activities, aradhana. Strict adherence to the routine of upasana, sadhana, aradhana is essential. Nevertheless, if there are some momentary disruptions because of contingencies, one should not have any misgivings about divine displeasure, because God, like Mother, is full of love, patience and forgiveness. Though certain restrictions on diet, such as vegetarianism and abstention from hard drinks, are recommended for accelerating progress in sadhana, these are not mandatory for the beginner. The devotee has free choice of time and period of upasana to suit his/her routine. Question 4. Will one incur divine displeasure if there are some inadvertent errors during worship? Answer. Absolutely not. The Creator is like our mother. The Divine Mother has only love for her children. How can she punish unless the fault is deliberate? One may contemplate on God even while lying on bed, when one is sick, or without proper physical cleanliness or rituals. The benefits, however small, will definitely accrue. One should not have the least apprehension about harm or divine displeasure due to errors in worship. If any mistake is committed in the rituals of tantric sadhana, the deities, who are mostly demoniac, may get annoyed and harm an errant sadhaka. However, Gayatri is the divine Shakti, the affectionate mother, full of forgiveness and compassion. She loves her child who lisps and cannot even speak properly. Gayatri is such a Kamdhenu. Even erroneous worship having righteous aims and objectives becomes fruitful if it is faithfully done. It is said about Valmiki that he could not even utter Ram properly, and by uttering Mara, Mara attained godliness. In rightest path of sadhana, sentiments are more important than rituals. None has been harmed on account of any omission in the method of Gayatri worship. Still, if there is any apprehension, the guidance of a spiritual master in this path of sadhana can be sought in the matter. Question 5. What are indications of progress in sadhana? Answer. After prolonged and persistent sadhana, with faith and dedication, the following characteristics appear in the devotee. 1. Magnetism in personality, sparkling eyes, force in speech, a glowing countenance, gravity and stability in expression. These qualities deeply impress everyone coming in contact with the devotee. People interacting with a devotee of Gayatri behave in conformity with his/her wishes. 2. The devotee feels a new celestial energy operating from within. 3. The devotee progressively loses interest in improper, sinful activities. If some wrong is inadvertently committed by him, he feels extremely repentant. He neither becomes elated on favorable happenings, nor loses equanimity while facing unfavorable circumstances. 4. If he curses someone on becoming deeply hurt, the adversary encounters great misfortune. 5. On the other hand, his good wishes always result in the welfare of the concerned person. 6. He develops the faculty of thought reading. None can hide his shortcomings, covert actions and motives from the penetrating gaze of a Gayatri devotee. 7. He can communicate telepathically with people living far away. 8. The environment around him is very quiet and serene. People find unusual peace, purity and serenity in his presence. 9. When at the zenith of his progress, he can paranormally transfer a part of the spiritual energy collected by him in course of his sadhana through tapascharya to any deserving individual, for which the latter need not make the required effort. This is called the process of Shaktipat in yoga, which the Guru uses for grooming the best disciple as his successor. 10. While contemplating, during the waking hours or in course of meditation, he may see emissions of multicolored lights, other paranormal lights, or hear celestial sounds or words. These are some visible signs of progress in sadhana. Besides, the devotee acquires many paranormal capabilities, which are much beyond normal human experience, knowledge and resources. Question 6. I have been doing Gayatri sadhana regularly. Nevertheless, at times, I feel depressed and dissatisfied with my progress. What is the remedy? Answer. The feelings of occasional depression, dissatisfaction with progress and momentary loss of interest are not uncommon in course of sadhana. In order to understand this paradoxical phenomenon, it is necessary to understand three successively higher phases of spiritual evolution. These are known as 1. The Mantra Diksha or initiation. This is the initial kindergarten stage, the Bhuha stage of Diksha, in which the Acharya, a representative of Guru, introduces the novice to the concept of Gayatri disciplines through Bekri Vani by speaking. Any contemplative, spiritually wise, high character, talented person may assume the charge of an Acharya. Nevertheless, this is a great responsibility, since after establishing the spiritual relationship, sins and virtues of the disciple are shared by the Guru. Since the Guru, by definition, is sinless, his displeasure on any dereliction by the devotee is quite natural. Besides, it must also be very clearly understood that merely admission to the school of sadhana through mantra diksha is not sufficient. The devotee must persistently endeavor to qualify for the higher stages of diksha. 2. Agni diksha or pran diksha. This is the bhuvaha stage of diksha carried out extrasensorially through madhyama and pashyanti vani, telepathic and soul-to-soul communication. In this case, the Guru undertakes refinement and development of the Sukshma Sharir, the conscious and supraconscious levels of mind, man, buddhi, chitta, and ahankar of the devotee. When the devotee graduates to this next higher class of Agni Diksha, the Guru extrasensorily transmits a part of the spiritual charge, pran, to the devotee from his own spiritual battery accumulated after prolonged tapascharya. The concepts planted and developed during the mantra diksha are now translated into action by this new acquisition of powerful energy, pran. At this stage, there is a great turmoil in the inner self of the devotee, which she apparently feels as a fast-growing dissatisfaction with her progress, uneasiness and momentary depression. These external symptoms are, in fact, an indication of the churning taking place within deeper levels of the soul. Hence, unless the devotee feels this turmoil, it is to be assumed that the activation by the Guru has become feeble because of some shortcomings in the devotee's sadhana. After Agni Diksha, the devotee becomes more enlightened and is able to discern her personal faults, however trivial they are. The term Agni Diksha owes its nomenclature to the process of incineration in the inner self by the fire of discernment. The phenomenon is parallel to the exercise of tapascharya for the purification of physical body. There are three clear signs of a person undergoing Agni Diksha. 1. A strong inclination to perform tapa for self-purification. 2. A feeling of discontentment with one's progress and a desire for speedy inner growth. And 3. Realization of many shortcomings in one's thoughts, behavior and nature. Here, it must be emphasized that only that Guru can give Diksha, who has himself earned and conserved sufficient spiritual charge by performing tapascharya. 3. Pran Diksha, Swaha, stage. This is the highest level of Diksha in course of which the transfer of spiritual energy takes place from the soul of the Guru to the soul of the devotee. This is the process through which the Guru hands over spiritual succession to the most deserving disciple. In other words, it means appointing the spiritual successor. Question 7. Why is the sadhaka advised to keep the progress in sadhana a secret? Answer. The purpose of keeping sadhana secret is only to avoid the possibility of confusion because of multiple interactions with people, so that after dispelling all doubts, one holds fast to it firmly and marches ahead on the chosen path. People try to criticize, find faults and suggest new methods and create doubts in the mind of the sadhaka if he discusses the method of his sadhana with several persons. Everyone who is consulted will suggest something new and the sadhaka's mind will get confused and he will lose faith. He will then change frequently his method of sadhana and on account of doubt get deprived of its benefits. It is therefore essential to have full faith in one's well-settled method, and it should be pursued with unflinching devotion under the guidance of an accomplished guru. Question 8. How is Gayatri relevant for humankind in the present times? Answer. Each individual is born with certain characteristic traits and IQ, all of which cannot be explained as genetic inheritance. For instance, genetics has no explanation for the rare birth of a saint, genius, or an idiot in several generations of a family. It is also a fact that many of these exclusive personal traits change in course of growth of the person from childhood to adulthood. Modern scientists generally ascribe these changes to social environment and education. The science of today is, however, unable to throw light on the reasons for presence or absence in an individual of characteristics like empathy, compassion, large-heartedness, tolerance, courage, equanimity, and creativity. Nor has modern science succeeded in devising gadgets or courses for inculcating these virtues. The spiritual masters in the East, on the other hand, maintain that the absolute repository of all virtues, which we call as God, is that source from which it is possible to acquire positive traits by personal endeavor through specific yogic exercises under the guidance of a guru. This is the objective of all spiritual pursuits in the East. Ever since the dawn of civilization in India, it has been emphasized that no amount of material progress in science and technology can bring about lasting happiness, peace, and prosperity for humankind, unless the individual, the unit of family, society, nation, and global population, is transformed by infusion of positive thinking. The so-called progress in the West is also responsible for 2 world wars, nuclear proliferation, environmental pollution, disparity in living standards, conflicts, poverty, and disease all over the world. Gayatri is a panacea for all problems, personal, family, social, national, or global. The Gayatri sadhana is a product of thousands of years of research. Following Gayatri yoga, any individual, irrespective of caste, class, color, nationality, social status, and religious affiliation, can acquire strength from the indwelling divinity for solving all problems of life. Question 9. What is Vam Marg? Answer. Yogic sadhanas are carried out in 2 ways. These are designated as the Dakshin Marg and Vam Marg or Tantra. References in this book pertains to the Dakshin Marg, which is the process, sadhana, of attracting the omnipresent powers of divinity, interacting with them by developing spiritual magnetism and cultivating paranormal faculties therefrom. The Vam Marg, on the other hand, is the technique of pulling out bioenergy from living beings and utilizing it for exercising psychic control over others and for exorcist activities. The source of tantric power is not the universal divine powers, but the physical energy produced by friction of subtle particles of nature rotating around their axis at tremendous speeds. Tantrics call this energy as Durga or Kali. In practice, the tantric excites the bioenergy of an animate being by violently killing it or inflicting excruciating pain on it by extraction of flesh or blood. It is tempting for some highly egoistic and ambitious persons to acquire extraordinary powers through Tantra, but its practice is extremely complex and dangerous. Only an extraordinarily courageous and fearless person learning under an expert can achieve success in Tantra. There are numerous instances of persons becoming mentally deranged, permanently paralyzed, sick, losing power of speech, sight, or hearing in course of tantric practices. The details of Tantra have, therefore, been kept secret and out of reach of common man. In ancient times, Tantra was used for welfare activities like self-defense, espionage, treatment of terminally ill, and for enhancing the intelligence quotient of mentally retarded. The practice is now extremely rare. Question 10. According to the law of karma, Everyone has to face the consequences of one's good or bad deeds. How is it then possible for Gayatri to absolve one from sins? Answer. It has been described that Gayatri dispels the darkness of sin. It does not mean destruction of the result of sin. It means getting rid of sinful tendencies. Glossary. Abhyan Sadhana, an advanced level of Upasana Sadhana. Achman. 3 sips of water consecrated through specific mantras taken for imbibing tranquility and piety in 3 aspects of mental activity. The first sip is taken for acquisition of a high level of character, righteous behavior and congeniality in vocal communication. With the second sip, one seeks strength from Almighty to resist evil thoughts from entering the mind and for acquiring tranquility. The third sip is taken to seek purification in living so that the ideal of simple living, high thinking and dedication towards duty remains uppermost in life. Agnihotra. Gayatri and Agnihotra are considered to be the very foundation stones of ancient Indian culture. Gayatri symbolizes divine power behind noble thoughts and Yagya is symbol of noble deeds, the basis of which are sacrifice and benevolence. Agnihotra has many objectives of fundamental importance for human well-being. 1. The smoke emanating from oblations in the fire has a very powerful bactericidal, germicidal effect on the atmosphere. This, in fact, is the only process known to humanity for the disinfection of the atmosphere for improvement of quality of biogenic, organic systems. 2. The vibrations produced by collective chanting of mantra during the Agnihotra being of frequencies much higher than the measurable supersonics, spread far and wide. These vibrations have a capacity to uplift and purify the sanskars, traits buried in the subconscious which trigger the instinctive behavior, inclinations etc. of the participants and of those around, in such a way that they effortlessly give up evil thoughts and practices. 3. The fire in the Agnihotra motivates us to utilize our resources for the social good, to identify with the downtrodden, to keep the level of one's determination and confidence high, to continue to work hard and remain duty-conscious throughout life and to constantly remember the ultimate fate of human body, thus, make maximum use of its capabilities for social good. Synonymous with Yagya and Havan. Ahuti. Oblations of mixture of special herbs, sugar and ghee, a form of dehydrated butter, made in burning fire in a yagya, synonymous with Agnihotra or Havan. Akshat. Oblations of a few grains of rice. It symbolizes sharing of a fraction of resources required through personal efforts. Regular oblations of Akshat are a constant reminder that a part of one's personal resources should always be utilized for the good of society and culture. Compare tithe amongst the Christians and zakat in Islam. Akhand Yagya. Uninterrupted Yagya like Akhand Jap, not recommended by scriptures. Angavastra. A cotton shawl worn by sadhakas in India around the torso. Anushtan. Special upasana sadhana performed to invoke divine grace for greater strength and his wisdom to achieve some specified purpose. A para prakriti. Sensory elements of the nature, elements perceived by human senses, lower nature. Aradhana literally meaning to please. In spiritual parlance, it means making the best utilization of one's time, labor, money and talents for service of humankind. Since the omnipresence of God is reflected in all beings, especially in man, who is the manager of his creation, appointed by him, Aradhana means pleasing God through participation in deeds of human welfare. Argal. Mantras to be chanted as a prerequisites to chanting of certain shlokas, for example, Durga Shaptshati. See Durga Shaptshati. Aswad Vrat. A vow to take food not for taste but for sustenance of the body, that is food without sugar, salt and condiment. A kind of tapascharya. Avahan. Invocation of deity. Balivesh. the first morsels of cooked food offered in fire to express one's gratitude to the Creator. Compare saying of grace at meals. Basant Panchami, the fifth lunar day of bright half of the 11th month, Magh, of ancient Indian lunar calendar is celebrated as the social festival of Basant Panchami. This day heralds advent of spring when multicolored flowers appear on the trees and plants. Yellow flowers of mustard appear all around. The mango trees in India begin to spread fragrance of buds and Indian cuckoos begin to sing. The advent of spring affects all the biological systems including human beings. The influence is not only on the physical exterior but also, especially, on the mental state, which on this occasion becomes fully charged for future planning. In India, this occasion is considered most suitable for taking up new projects. Brahman, an individual of high character dedicated to simple living, utilizing maximum savings of time, labor, resources and talents for welfare of society. In scriptures, the word Brahman has a different connotation than the one invoked today for the caste Brahman. Brahmbhoj, in an Anushtan, the last ritual is Brahmbhoj after Purnahuti in the Havan. It requires feeding Brahmans or young maidens. Nowadays, Brahmdan, that is dissemination of spiritual wisdom, Sadgyan, is considered a better substitute for Brahmbhoj. Brahmdan, dissemination of spiritual wisdom through sharing of soul-elevating literature amongst the deserving persons. Brahmi, the motivating aspect of Shakti, governing creative powers of Almighty in the universe, symbolized as a female deity with 4 faces, the 4 streams of wisdom. An emanation of Gayatri. Brahma Parayan, one who is fully dedicated to righteous living. Chandan, it is oblation or application of sandalwood paste which symbolizes utilization of one's capabilities for social good. Like a sandal tree, which spreads its fragrance all around and even as dead wood is used for incense sticks and germicides, a sadhaka is expected to constantly remember to use his physical and mental capabilities for social well-being. Chintan, Atma Chintan, introspection or self-reflection for inner purification and transformation. Dattatreya, the name of an ancient Indian rishi, see Rishi. Diksha, initiation by a guru. During the initiation, the sadhaka pledges to follow the rules of sadhana throughout his life. On the other hand, the guru establishes an abiding extrasensory link with the physical, astral and causal bodies of sadhaka for guidance. Devis, goddesses, various emanations of the supreme goddess Gayatri. Dhoti dupatta, loose cotton garment worn by sadhakas. Durga Saptshati, 700 verses, mantras, sung in the praise of goddess Durga, an emanation of supreme divine Shakti. Gurukul, ancient Indian residential school which all children of the society had to attend irrespective of their social status. In Gurukuls, they were given education and training in all aspects of life including religious doctrines. Guru Purnima, the full moon day of month of ancient Indian lunar calendar Ashar, July. Guru Purnima is commemorated each year to dedicate oneself to high ideals, that is to have a total and unshakable faith in eternal moral values and high ideals. Inculcation of these attributes transforms an ordinary person into an enlightened soul. Havan, same as Agnihotra, Yagya. Havan Kund, a receptacle made of metal or earth for performing Havan. Idol worship, utilizing a symbol for meditating on God. For example, a picture or idol of a deity, a crucifix, a natural object like sun, moon, a piece of rock or earth from a sacred place. It is to be remembered that in each case the prayer is made to the omnipresent and impersonal Godhead. Jap, uninterrupted chanting of a mantra or name of God for a specified period and number. Karan Sharir, causal body. Kamdhenu, a cow in Swaga, heaven, which grants all wishes. A symbolic representation of Gayatri. Colors, spherical vessel filled with water used during Upasana, symbolic of creative forces of divinity engaged in maintenance of harmony and protection of virtues. Kalmash, evil or immoral thoughts, evil habits. Kalpavriksha, a tree in Swaga, heaven, all wishes made under its shade are fulfilled. A symbolic representation of Gayatri. Kavach Kilan, mandatory mantras chanted at the beginning of certain scriptural texts like Durga Shaptashati. Kshatriya, in ancient Indian fourfold classification of society, the class which was responsible to work as administrators and warriors. Today, however, this refers to a particular caste. Mala, a rosary of 108 beads used for counting the number of japs. Manan, contemplation, reflection. Mantra, a scientifically composed verse in Sanskrit with specific syntax and intonations for invocation of divine powers. Muni, person contemplating on ways and means for progressive evolution of human mind for temporal and spiritual well-being of society. Mukh, tantric, a specialized form of yajna, at times performed for worldly gains. A tantric practice. Naivedya, prasad, sweets offered to the deity. A reminder to imbibe loving kindness in all situations and spread happiness all around. Nirakar, without shape or form, impersonal. Omkar, pronounced as OOM, from deep down the larynx resonating like sounding of a large bell. An acoustic representation of God, same as Amen of Christianity or Ameen of Islam. Om is used as a prefix or suffix to all mantras as a mark of reverence. Panchopchar. The 5 mandatory rituals preceding Upasana are 1. Purification of body with consecrated water. 2. Achman. See Achman. 3. By touching Shikha, see Shikha, with consecrated water invoking support of divine powers for wise control over thoughts and emotions. 4. Through a timely coordinated procedure of inhalation and exhalation pranayam, augmentation of pran, life force, and expulsion of vices from the mind. 5. With the help of consecrated water, symbolic of purification of nerve centers controlling speech, respiration, audition, vision and locomotion. Paraprakriti, extrasensory phenomena, elements of nature, ESP, psychokinetics, precognition etc. fall in this domain, higher realms of nature. Parva, days of socio-religious celebrations, for example, Basant Panchami, Dashehra, Diwali etc. Pran, the unit of sum and total of all forces in the universe, mental or physical, resolved to one unified force. The Hindu scriptures profess endless cycles of Shrishti and Pralaya. According to Hindu cosmology, energy and matter are eternal, though interconvertible. Compare Einstein's formula E equals mc squared. At the end of each cycle of creation, all matter, solid, liquid, gas, stars, planets, flora and fauna, becomes contracted into its unit, Akash, whereas all forms of forces and energy, gravitation, magnetism, electricity, bioenergy, thought, force etc., become unified into the unit, prana. At the end of each cycle of creation, the energies in the universe merge back into the absolute. At the beginning of the next cycle, they become kinetic, strike down on the primordial Akash, which evolves into various animate and inanimate forms of energy. This concept of creation is compatible with modern science, which regards matter and energy as interconvertible and indestructible. Prasad, see Naivedya. Purnahuti, the last of the series of oblations in an Agnihotra. A pledge before Almighty, symbolized in the flame of Havan, is taken to work persistently and selflessly for highest good of society. Purashcharan, the highest level of Upasana sadhana seeking divine grace for some specific noble objective. Associated with 10 million times chanting of mantra in a fixed time frame. Riddhi, invisible boons showered by divine grace such as social recognition, divine help in need, contentment, etc. Rishi, awakened souls performing tapascharya in their physical as well as astral bodies for the well-being of humankind. Rishika, a woman rishi, seer scholar. Sadgyan, spiritual wisdom. Sadhaka, one who is engaged in sadhana. Sadhana literally meaning harnessing. In spiritual parlance, it means harnessing the inner faculties of mind and emotions which control the sensory organs, so that all thoughts, words and deeds of the sadhaka are righteous. In practice, it requires keeping a constant watch on one's mental and emotional states and actions flowing therefrom, introspection, for progressive self-evolution. Also a synonym for worship or upasana, since worship is also carried out for the same purpose. Sakar, having a shape or form. Sandhya Vandan, performance of upasana at dusk time. Sayam, conservation and proper utilization of physical, emotional and mental energy, resources and time. Sati, Shambhavi, the transforming power of divine governing transformation of elements in the universe. Symbolized as a female deity. An emanation of Gayatri. Shikha, the tuft of hair at the top of the head, knotted on the back of the cranium. This part of the hair on the head is known to be sensitive to extrasensory transmissions of divine vibrations. Besides, Shikha, being situated on top of the head, is also symbolic of keeping the flag of ancient Indian culture high. Shikha constantly reminds one of the pledge taken for keeping watchful eye on one's thoughts and emotions for righteous actions in life. Siddhi, paranormal faculties developed through upasana, sadhana, aradhana. Sukshma, subtle, extrasensory, not perceivable by human senses. Sutak, periods of quarantine during births and deaths in the family. Sthul Sharir, physical body. Suryarghyadan, offering of consecrated water poured in a continuous stream while facing the sun. Here, sun symbolizes supreme Godhead and the stream of water, human life. It is a pledge made to God that just as the water evaporates and spreads as vapor all over the atmosphere, returning later again in water to sustain life, the sadhaka seeks helps of the divinity in distributing his inherent capabilities and worldly resources amongst the masses. Tamogun, one of the three gunas, qualities, of nature. It is the quality of dullness, inertia and darkness. It results in ignorance. Tantra Shastra, Tantric Mantra, the science of capturing and using bioenergy of living beings for creation, transformation and destruction of material things without the help of man-made objects. The practice is difficult and hazardous. Hence, not recommended. Tantric, one who practices Tantra Shastra. Tapa, making the body accustomed to hardships through an austere way of living. An essential ingredients of upasana sadhana. An abbreviation of tapascharya. Tapascharya literally means heat, motion, activity, friction, struggle. When purification of any object is required for fruitful utilization, it is subjected to one of the foregoing process. This also holds true for the human being. For purification of mind of animal instincts acquired from previous lives, which unknowingly motivate him to commit evil deeds, tapa is carried out. Tapascharya stands for toleration of the inconveniences on being deprived of accustomed comforts. Tilak chhap, vermilion or sandalwood paste applied on the forehead in a particular pattern. Used to distinguish various religious sects during the medieval period. Titiksha, a type of tapa in which the sadhaka endeavors to endure extremes of discomforts. Trikal Sandhya, performance of upasana 3 times a day. During the day, the periods recommended are at sunrise, midday and sunset. Upasana, literally meaning sitting in proximity, coming closer to God, ultimately becoming one with the Creator, like fuel, which on coming in contact with fire, loses its identity. Since God is considered as an repository of all virtues, Upasana stands for expelling evil tendencies from one's thoughts, words and deeds and imbibing virtues. In nutshell, moral upliftment by personal endeavor and prayer. Vasishtha, a rishi who had performed 15 million japs of Gayatri Mantra. In ancient times, only a Vasishtha was considered worthy of appointment as Guru of the royal family. Vaishnavi, an emanation of supreme divine Shakti Gayatri governing preservation of the universe. Symbolized as a female deity. Ved Mantra, a mantra from the Vedas, the primary 4 doctrines revealed by the Creator. Vedas are the documentation of the most ancient spiritual doctrines. The Vedas are divine revelations. Visajan, taking leave of the deity. Vishwamitra, literally, a friend of the universe. Rishi Vishwamitra made science and practice of Gayatri Sadhana accessible to the masses. Vrat, literally meaning a pledge, a vow. Voluntary restrictions in kind and frequency of diet during tapascharya. Vyahrites, the primordial forms of energy manifesting at the beginning of each cycle of creation, Shrishti. Yagyopavit, a thin garland of threads worn across the torso on the left shoulder by the sadhaka. It is a symbolic representation of Gayatri. The objective of wearing it near the heart is to consistently keep in mind the doctrines of Gayatri. The 3 strands of Yagyopavit represent the 3 clauses of Gayatri Mantra. 9 threads are representative of the 9 words of the mantra comprising 24 letters. 3 knots indicate 3 Vyahrites, Bhur, Bhuvaha, Swaha, and the principal knot, the Pran, life force. Yug Nirman, plan for establishment of a new world order by moral, ethical and spiritual transformation of humanity. Yajurved, one of the 4 Vedas. It broadly encompasses all attributes related to heroic endeavor, industrious, work, courage, bravery, leadership, fame, victory, status, honor, etc.